I love playing the character. It's certainly, the trick is each time, to find new ways to make the character would have some sort of advance or growth from the last one and not repeat things you've already done. And that's the trick of, director, writer, and the actor obviously coming together and seeing where we're, what's the next step or where we're going to take him. For Thor, it really is picking up from Thor 1 in a lot of ways, with the same sort of questions he still has about his brother, about why and how did they end up here and what happened to their relationship, and but the bigger picture being now Thor is stepping into the role of king, or about to potentially, and proving that he deserves to be there, and also understanding or coming to terms with the responsibilities that becoming king carries. The Dark World is a reference to the planet that the Dark Elves are from, but also I think Alan's take on it was that this is it's a darker transition into adulthood, if you will, for Thor and him becoming king, and the darker side of growing up, I guess, and the maturity and the responsibilities and then the secrets, becomes very political about what the people of Asgard and the universe need to know versus what they want to know. I think I'm always looking for some sort of conflict, and what is it that he's trying to work through, as opposed to just kind of being there and being central to the situation. And I think you got to make sure the hero is certainly is a big catalyst to the resolution. He's not just kind of there to step in at the very end and save the day. You want a journey. The challenge was not to repeat what we had in the first film, but at the same time, the conflict between Thor and Odin, I think, was something people seem to love, and so we found new ways of having them disagree. But it's a much more mature, respectful disagreement, as opposed to the first one, where Thor was a young teenager. Thor gets to really ask Loki, "What do you want? What's this about? Why? How did we get here?" And also apologize. Yeah, okay, I maybe played a part in that, but I think he's able to confront Loki and say it's about time that you kind of recognize your role in this. It wasn't all everyone else's fault, and which was nice. I think in especially Avengers, it was just us kind of yelling at each other and butting heads, and that happens a bit in this, but there's for the most part, I think it's a far more interesting dynamic. She's not too happy at first, I think, but comes to understand that he's been, saving the universe. So that's not a bad excuse. But it's the two of them, have to, I think, figure out whether or not this is a realistic relationship, and that's the reality of it. But I think what takes over is just that this is how they feel. They do feel this strongly for each other. So they're, regardless of everything else, they're thinking with their heart instead of their head, and that alternates a bit. He's fantastic. He's got a great sense of story, and a need to sort of find the truth in this and not have it be hokey and ridiculous. We kept trying to sort of ground it in some way.